I'm here, y'all. Y'all know what I'm trying to do. I found my tripod. Hold on, y'all. Okay. I think I got it. Is it on phone? Yeah. You know what? This weekend, I'm definitely getting another tripod. This tripod irks my soul. At least I found it, though. But, okay. Don't touch the camera. All right, let me turn this down. So, I'm. Do I need this light? Did that help? No. Okay. So, okay, don't do that. I'm going to answer a few questions today. Sometimes when people ask me questions under the comment of an old video, I won't answer it there because some of those questions can't be answered. Y'all still seem too close. Some of those questions can't just be answered um, with just a small comment. Like I need to kind of go into more detail for people to understand what I mean. So I don't like to answer detailed questions in the comment section like that. And people just come under like real old videos and ask questions like, like we have a relationship, like I know you or something. And do y'all realize, I mean, do some of the people realize, like, I don't know you. I don't know what's going on with your situation. And some of the questions that people ask me are kind of difficult to answer because I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know what's going on with you. Like people will ask me, well, so and so happened to me. What do you think that means? I have no clue because I don't know you. I don't know the situation. I have no idea where you are in your spiritual journey or anything. So, hey, tell it like it is, Alafia, and hey, Phoenix. Nope, never heard of that. Never even heard of Orisha named Shock Pony. Never heard of it. And let me tell you something. There are tons of Orisha out there. But there really are only a few Orisha. There are the standard Orishas that you are going to get made to or get introduced to unless there is something in your life, not my life, your life. A lot of people don't understand that working with the Orishas is a personal type situation where I may need Orisha Alokun because I'm going through a depression or something, or I may need Orisha Oshun because I'm going through fertility issues, or I want a child, or something happened between me and my child. That is personal to me. That has nothing to do with your situation, because me and you are totally different. Like, I came into this world by myself. I'm not a twin. There was no multiple birth. There was just me. So my relationship with the Orisha is my relationship. Now, if I had a twin or something, we would share some of the connection to the Orisha, but we would still have our own personal relationship. But I'm not a twin. I was a single birth. So my relationship with the Orisha is my relationship. When you have your reading with Oba, Babalao, whoever it is you're having a reading with, they will tell you then what Orishas you're going to work with. So just jumping into this religion, picking an Orisha to work with really doesn't do you any good unless you've had a reading to find out that is you're going to have to ignore that, because when I turn this phone on, it just kind of does that until you find out what Orisha you're going to work with. So there are tons of Orisha out there that I have never heard of, never worked with, and have no plans on working with. These are the Orishas so far that I work with. I work with basically the Orishas who are included in the seven African powers, and that's it. These are my Orisha that I wear around my neck. Now, of course, I know other, Ogun, Obatala, a lot of other Orishas, but that doesn't mean that right now I'm working with them. And, you probably don't have to either. Okay, I hope that's over. Yeah, I mean, if there are Orishas that you want to learn more about, then, go ahead and do your research. I'm not saying to don't do your research, but I'm saying you don't have to honor every Orisha that you've heard from or you've heard about. So let me read this one question, and I want to kind of talk about. Let me find it. Okay, so here's the comment. It says, I'm new to doing my research on Alegua. Don't know where to start. Want to do things right and in order before I get to setting up an altar or petitioning a legua. I truly need the roads open for me and my children. Now, why did you know, I would wonder why the person picked a legua. Even though a legua is a good road opener and one of the first ceremonies begin and end with a legua, the Orisha still want you to honor your ancestors first. If you don't have a relationship with your ancestors, you're not going to have a relationship with the Orisha. That is the first thing you have to do is make contact with and honor your ancestors. The Orisha are not going to do anything for you until you honor your ancestors, until you lift your ancestors. Because that's going to be the first thing that comes up after your reading. If you have a legitimate godmother or godfather, that is going to be the first thing that they teach you how to do is honor your ancestors. Before you receive your leges or anything, they're going to teach you how to set up your table to honor your ancestors, because the Orisha are always going to send you back to your ancestors first, because there is to be no disrespect of your ancestors. And if you can't form a relationship with them, there's no way for you to form a relationship with the Orisha, because they won't allow it. Because they're not going to allow you to disrespect your ancestors, not at all. That's part of the process. And for a lot of people, that's part of the healing. The healing begins with your ancestors. It doesn't begin with forging uh, these relationships with Orisha that you don't even know. It begins with healing your relationships with your ancestors. And if you can't do that, there's no way that you can even form a relationship with the Orisha, because it's too much involved. You can't even get your ancestors together. You can't even speak to them, but you want to petition Orishas that you don't know. And you are stepping over your bloodline to get to them. Hold on, I'm going to get to that, Deja. You're stepping over your bloodline to get to Orishas that you don't even know. So, a question came up in a group that I'm in on Facebook. And to be honest, I'm just in this group just to see, how people are talking. So, a young man came, asked a question in the group. He looked from his profile picture. If this was his real profile picture, he looked under 25. He looked young. And he said, "Can someone help me do a spell on my grandfather? I live in his house and he acts like he does not like me. We're always getting into it. So I want to do something to him. I want to do something to him to, like, basically either make him like me or make him leave me alone." So most people I could tell the people who had any level of wisdom was telling him, "So you're asking us to tell you how to hurt someone that you share blood with, your grandfather. You two people share DNA, and you live in his house, and you want to do something under this man's roof to hurt him because y'all not getting along. Do you know that the Orisha, the Loa, everyone will make that backfire on him? Because they're not going to give you the power to hurt someone that shares DNA with you. If anything, they're going to want you to heal that relationship. And if cooling your head is the problem, or making you look at situations differently, or opening your eyes to be able to see your fault in the situation is what it's going to take to heal that situation, that's what they're going to show you. They're never going to tell you to hurt someone in your family. They will tell you to get out of that situation before they tell you to hurt, you know, someone that you share blood with. And it's crazy how people, would even think to do something like that. Like, this ain't a stranger. This is your grandfather. And I'm not really sure, he didn't say how old his grandfather was, or is he sick, he didn't say the whole situation. He just made it seem like his grandfather was doing something to him to make him feel uncomfortable, and he basically wanted to hurt him spiritually. But you're never ever going to receive those type of messages from the Orisha or the Loa. And if you're getting those type of messages, you're getting them from somebody else. They're not coming from who you think they're coming from. And it's time for you to do some serious inward searching and cleansing so that you can get those type of thoughts out of your mind. You have to. Because the Orisha is normally not on that revenge type stuff. Teaching you revenge, teaching you to go out here and fight everybody. That's what they're for. They don't want you to do it. That's what you petitioned them for. They don't want you out here hurting people, because if you do, then you stand a chance of being hurt in the process. Because just like you can, run up on somebody with a weapon, that person has a weapon. That person could have a weapon also. That is one of the things you learn when you first come into this religion, is you come at your sisters and brothers with your arms crossed like this. This shows that I have nothing. I have no weapons. I'm coming at you in an humble way. This is how you hug the people in the religion. You cross your arms to show that you are vulnerable. You have nothing. I'm coming to you. I done tied my own arms up for that specific reason. I am not here to do any harm to you. So that's not why this religion is set up. It's not set up to, hurt people or destroy people or fight people. That's not it. And I think a lot of people, take on that whole, well, Haiti used voodoo to take down the the French people, but that's totally different, because that wasn't a one-on-one battle. The battle of this young man with his grandfather, that's a one-on-one thing. That's very personal. That situation was different. So some of you need to, not only think, why are you in why are you interested in this religion? You need to do more reading, more serious reading, books that were written by people that really truly practice this religion, not, stuff that you get off of TikTok. Because people on TikTok are saying all kind of stuff, especially white people, and they are, whitewashing this religion, whitewashing this practice, and it's causing a lot of black people to really not understand. Like, you practicing backwards. I see people posting stuff about Orisha and crystals, and combining the practice of Orisha and crystals is not even African traditional practice. The practice of charging crystals and having crystals, that's not African practice. So crystals have absolutely nothing to do with the Orisha. Oh, well, Yemiya loves blue, so all blue crystals are part of, Yemaya, and Oshun loves yellow, so all citrine is Oshun's favorite crystal. That's a lie. When you receive your Orisha, you're not going to receive not now crystal. If you have ever seen a real altar set up for the Orisha, you will never see a crystal on there. There are no crystals in the pots that you receive. There are no crystals in any of the lekes that you receive. None. Because crystals have nothing to do with this tradition. And that's the problem that I have, people incorporating bits and pieces of stuff that they enjoy into a tradition that has nothing to do with that. But they do it because they don't have any understanding. If you know someone that is a real priest and you have seen their altar that they have set up, they don't have no crystals. Now, Oshun loves brass. Her bracelets, her crown, everything is brass. Obatala, I think, loves silver. I think his crown and his implements are silver. It depends on the Orisha. Ogun loves iron, the metal iron. When you receive your implements for the warriors, you will receive a pot that looks like a witch's cauldron with a machete and, horseshoe, some other things that represent iron and metal and strength. You won't receive any crystals. But because a lot of people are not willing to do real research, you're turning to social media as your research, and social media is giving you this new age watered down understanding of the religion because you really don't want to research. We live in a microwave society. We just want it handed to us. Like, oh, I'm so interested in this. Give it to me. Give me a legua. Now I don't know what to do with him, but give him to me because I heard I need him. When Beyonce's song was popular, everybody wanted to be Oshun. That kind of died down. But everybody and their mama wanted to be Oshun because Beyonce was. I mean, I still, every now and then, I still get a comment every now and then about the whole, oh, can you tell me about Beyonce's Oshun? Beyonce don't have an Oshun. Beyonce is just like everybody else in this. Beyonce is not looked at any different than anyone else in this tradition. Now, if Beyonce is a priestess, her status, of course, would be a little bit higher, but she still has someone to answer to. She still has a godmother there. There is a hierarchy that she still has to answer to. And I'm pretty sure if, Beyonce did join a house or whatever, Beyonce is still would still be considered a baby in the religion. Because whenever you get crowned, you start all over. Like your age starts all over again. So if it's your first year of your first crowning year, then you're 1 year old. Your whole entire life when you receive your crown in this religion starts all over again. You are birthed a new person. So if it's only been a year, you're a year old. During your Yahweh year, you're considered a baby, an infant. You're being taken care of basically by your godmother and your god brothers and sisters. You're not allowed to be out at night by yourself just like you would treat a child. You can't use a fork for a whole year. They give you a spoon and a bowl, because a fork or a knife, because you wouldn't give a baby a fork or a knife, right? You're on the mat for a whole entire year. You have to carry your mat, your spoon, your bowl, your cup around with you in a white bag, because that's what you eat from. You eat on the floor, on a mat. You're on a mat for a whole year until you are lifted by your godparents at the close of your Yahweh year. Are you ready for that? On the floor, in public. You eat on the floor, on a little straw mat. You're wearing white every day, from head to toe. You have to be in the house before the sun goes down, unless you're at work. Are you ready for that type of commitment? Because I'm not. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not ready for that. And taking care of your Orisha every single solitary day. Every day. You have to get up in the morning, say your prayers, honor your ancestors, fix your ancestors' breakfast, coffee, every day. Then there may be something special that you have to fix for your Risha, and you have to do it. Once you make that commitment, you can't be like, oh, I don't feel like dealing with them today. They all dirty and dusty. I'm not trying to deal with. No, you're going to deal with it. That's why I don't have my Orisha. I just, not like that. I've never felt like, I was truly ready for that. It's a big commitment, and most people are not ready for that. You're not even ready to deal with your ancestors. Okay? A lot of people, I didn't realize until social media how many people really hate their parents. It's one parent that most people hate, either your mama or your daddy. And a lot of guys hate their mothers. We always say that boys are closer to the mothers and girls are closer to their fathers. It's a lot of guys out here that really hate their mamas. They got mama issues. It don't matter. The daddy could be in jail. They could still hate the mama. And I didn't realize that until social media. And until you heal those type of relationships and really open yourself up to be vulnerable to heal those type of relationships, you're not getting close to the Orisha. Because there's going to be ebos you have to do to take care of those things before you even get initiated. Like those things are gonna come up in your reading. And you have to take care of those things before the Orisha will crown you. So if you out here with mama and daddy issues, you better figure out a way to make it right. Because if you don't, it's going to come up in your reading. You're going to have to face certain things. Because the Orisha don't want you out here carrying those heavy, unnecessary burdens anyway. They want you to release that stuff. Either you going to release it at the water, you going to burn it, you going to do something with it before they can deal with you. Because if you're not open, you know what I mean, and you're not healed, there's no way that they can rebirth you. You got to heal this stuff first before you can even make that transition to being a child again. You got to heal all that crazy stuff that, you've carried around as an adult. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. You just think, oh, I can skim over that. I can hate my mama. I can't stand her ass. Or my grandmama, she dead. I'm glad she dead. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's not going to work like that. That stuff is going to come up and it's going to bite you in the face. It definitely will. Because I had to deal with it. I had to deal with some things that was going on with my mother when I first got in this religion. Because the Orisha was like, "What's going on with you and your mama?" What? That's how I knew it was real. What's going on with your mother? You got to get that together. So if you're not willing to do that, put this on the back burner until you're really ready to look at yourself honestly. You're not going to get these. You won't get these. Especially if you're getting them from someone that really practices. Now you can go to the store and buy them. You can go to a botanica and purchase them, but you're not really getting, you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting. If you're not willing to really open yourself up, because see, the Orisha are preparing you to be a priest. They are preparing you to be able to help somebody else. So how can you help somebody else? You have God kids and all, and a house and everything. How can you help somebody else if you still holding on to a lot of garbage, anger, resentment, hatred, abandonment issues, unresolved parental hatred, all of that stuff? How can you help someone else heal if you're not healed? That's the blind leading the blind. Both of you are going to fall. You're going to fall. So if you're not willing to do things correctly, then, I really do. I advise people not to, this ain't for you. And it's not for everyone. It's not. You may be that person to get a reading and the read should be like, I ain't trying to deal with you. No. Mm-mm. I'm not trying to deal with you right now. Go come back in 2 years. Because there was a period of in my life where I was so angry. Like super angry. And I wanted to do Palo, which is the darker side of Santeria. I really wanted to get scratched in Palo. So my god sister was like, okay, well, you need to get a reading and see if the Orisha even want you to do Palo. So I got a reading and it was hell no. Not no. Not just mm-mm. It was hell no. And so the person that did the reading was like, well, let me throw it again because he was throwing Obi. And if you don't know what Obi is, it's the shells, the coconut shells. So he threw Obi again and asked if I could come back later. And they said yes, but definitely not now. And if you get a reading from someone and it clearly says no, that person is obligated not to scratch you. So I didn't. And then I got so mad. I got so mad that I was told no that I've never, asked again. But I'm like in a totally different um, mindset now. I'm not as hot headed as I used to be. This was over 10 years ago. So I probably was like in my early 40s. I'm not nearly as hot headed as I used to be. So I don't think now there would be, um, you know, I don't think anything would come up if I was to ask now. But I'm not even interested in it now. Like, I don't even want it now. And so the Orisha probably knew. I mean, she don't want to do this. She only want to do it because she's mad at the world. She bitter. She upset. No, we don't need her out here practicing palo. This girl gonna mess around and hurt somebody. Sit her down. No, hell no, no. Go sit down. No, keep doing what you're doing. You stay on the light side. We don't need you on the dark side. And so I did, and I never asked again. Hey, honeybee. Hey, bird. Hey, Jennifer. So Deja said, can you expand on that? How to honor the ancestors? Who can we consider an ancestor? See, that's the thing. A lot of people want to practice and don't even have a clue who your ancestors are. You don't even know. And see, when you don't know that, then you shouldn't even be, you know, thinking about, you should be looking into researching ancestors. Who are our ancestors? Who are your ancestors? Because your ancestors are not mine. We're not related. I'm pretty sure we're not. Now, if we were related, we would have the same ancestors. We would have like grandparents in common, aunts or uncles or something in common. Your ancestors are your deceased relatives. Yours, not mine. I have my own ancestors. Okay? My mom, my dad, my grandmothers, grandfathers, my sister, my relatives that are deceased. People in my bloodline who are gone, known and unknown, because they're ancestors that we don't. Of course, they've died and we don't know their names, but they're still our ancestors. They're still part of our bloodline. We come from somewhere and someone. It's people that even our parents never met that are related to us. They died before even our parents had an opportunity to meet them. Those are our ancestors. The people in your family that are deceased, not live people, not people that are still here walking around. No matter how old they are, they're not your ancestors if they're still on this side. It's the people who have transitioned, the ones that are gone. What time is it? I can't tell. What time is it? Oh, it's only 3. I'm like, why my husband ain't going to work? It ain't time yet. The people who have transitioned, who have left this earth, that are biologically connected to you, biologically related to you. are your ancestors. Grandmother, grandfather, your mother, if your mother has passed, your father, if your father has passed, your uncle, your auntie, your cousin, your sister, your brother, those are your ancestors. People that are blood related to you that have passed away are your ancestors. Yours. Okay? So, not your boyfriend's ancestors, not your mother in law, not your boyfriend's mama or daddy or cousin. No matter how close you were to them, they're still not your ancestor. Now, you can honor them. You can honor them because you were close to them, but they're not your ancestor. Your relationship with them would be totally different than your ancestors, someone that is, blood related to you. Even if you don't know their names, you still honor them. You still put out food for them, coffee, breakfast, lunch, dinner, whichever meal you decide to put out for them, you still honor them. If they loved a certain thing for their birthday, you give them that. Like my mother used to love these frozen pound cakes from Sara Lee. And I would, have one of those for her birthday every year. My dad loved Coke, uh, pickled pig feet, cigarettes. You do those things for them. If you knew like certain things that they enjoyed, a certain dish that, you make like gumbo, maybe you make gumbo, you can give, your ancestors a bowl of gumbo. If you come from a specific area and you know that your family members loved a certain thing, you can give that to them. If they love to smoke cigars, tobacco is always good to give to your ancestors. You make sure you light a white candle for them so they can, still light their way. But that's your ancestors. That's who they are. And that's who you have to start with, is building a relationship with your ancestors, because the Orisha do not want you to skip over your ancestors to get to them. Just like you have to go through Jesus to get to God, you got to go through your ancestors to get to the Orisha. There is a process. So, learn and do things correctly. If there are steps to doing certain things, learn how to follow those steps. Don't think you're going to jump over certain situations and just do certain things, because that's not how this process works. And a lot of stuff that are in books, you're not going to learn unless you have a godmother, unless you've been to the mat, unless you've been initiated. There are so many mysteries about the Orisha that you will not learn. You just won't until you are initiated, until you are brought into. That's when you start to learn certain things. Yes, of course, there are herbs, a lot of herbs used in this religion. A lot of herbs, plants, flowers, herbs, all of that is used. Because in Africa, in Nigeria, where this, religion originated way back when, they wasn't going to botanicas to, you know, get what they needed. They would go out in the woods and get it. When we have when we have ceremonies, that's part of the ceremony. Part of the ceremony is going out. Like, they have certain people that do certain things. Like, you have certain people that take care of the animals, you have certain people in the kitchen, you have certain people cleaning up, you have certain people who go out and collect the herbs for the ceremony. And it's a lot of herbs to get. Because one time I went with my god sister, who was a priest, who, well, still is a priest, and she was, teaching me how to collect some of the herbs and stuff, because because she knew I had like an affinity for plants. I love plants. I love gardening. I'm into green things, growing things. That's my thing. I love that. So she wanted to, teach me to be one of the people that would go out and collect the herbs. So we had went out that day. I did not realize that, you have to collect herbs for every Orisha. Please block the person above me. I just sent their message and said something mean about you. Is Phoenix in here? Let Phoenix or Kay take care of it. Just block them. Phoenix, if Phoenix or Kay is in here, they'll block them. Um, so I didn't realize that when we went out, we had to collect herbs for all of the Orisha. And all of the herbs are, like, you may just be driving down the street and she would say, "Oh, there's so and so," and we would just get out the car and get them. And sometimes they would be in people's yard, and we would be lucky enough to ask. I remember one time a man was outside watering his yard, and he had a bush that had these flowers that were for Obatala. And my god sister got out and, asked the man nicely, could we have some of the flowers? And he was, she told him that they were for a ceremony, a spiritual ceremony. And the man was like, "Oh, yeah, go right ahead." And so she said, "Okay, I see it. I got it." Um, so she said, "Okay, well, when I take the flowers, I have to leave an offering." And he was like, "That's fine." And so we had, money and other things that were used to leave, because when you take something from the earth, you have to leave something as a payment. So she, we took the flowers and left something as an offering for the flowers. So, yeah, herbs are extremely important, because um, when you have your first initiation, okay, when you have your first initiation, you're scrubbed down with herbs from head to toe. There are, certain healing herbs, medicinal herbs, and everything. I got rid of them. I got rid of that person. I hope I don't have to. It's sad that people um have no life. And when you're talking about something well, when you're talking about something of light and healing and uplifting, of course, dark forces will try to come in and stop you from talking about it or distract you or, change the energy because they can't deal with that level of light. That light bothers them. So they come in and try to force their darkness into light. So you just have to look at those type of people and understand that they are damaged, hurt, dark, angry people who are allowing dark forces to control their minds. Their minds are messed up. Because if you come into a live and someone is speaking about, you know, religion, if it's something that you're not interested in, then leave, you know. But if your mind is contaminated, then you will come in and try to destroy what that person is trying to put out. And you just block them and keep going. I could care less. Like, I'm not about to sit up and argue with someone who is on a level so below me, so below me that it's not even what happened. Oh, the way you was carrying it, I thought he had got sick. Move, Gizmo. You know he wasn't gonna like that. You knew he wasn't. So we just ignore those people. I'm not sure if my moderators are here, but when they come in, just block them. Please, don't entertain that kind of stuff. Don't try to defend me. Just block them, because they're ignorant. You can't defend me because I could care less about these people. And don't even take that into your spirit. We're learning, we're conversating, and if these people are stuck on something that happened 2 years ago, then they're living in the past, we're living in the present, and we're growing towards the future. Okay? So we just block them and keep going. Because I'm not going to argue with anyone that's living in the past. That's that's not how I live. And if they do, that's on them. So back to the ancestor, um, back to learning about the ancestors. So once you speak to your godparent, once find a godparent or find a real teacher, that's the first thing that they're going to teach you to set up is your ancestor altar. And then you will move from there. But until you get that, you won't be able there are levels to this just like there are everything else. Yeah, a cup of water, well, a glass of water, not a cup. A glass of water, a white candle, a table with a white towel, a table with a white scarf or material, you know. But they're going to show you how to set it up because some houses set things up different. They want you to have more than one glass of water on your table. You may have to have 5 or 7. It just depends on what house that you're in. Some people do things a little different, but it's basically the same premise. So you do things the way your house does them, so that all of you are doing them the same way. Houses do things a little bit different. So you do things the way your godparent, your godmother, or father, or babalao, or whoever instructs you to do them. But it's all in the end. It's basically all the same thing. You want to go outside? Didn't you just come from? Yes, that was Gizmo drinking his. You could hear it. Yes, that was just that was thirsty. That was him drinking water. God no. Well, it's not that far from where I'm sitting. God, he was thirsty.
That was Gizmo, not me.
I know that wasn't you, big head. It is kind of warm in here though. So yeah. Well, y'all, I try to keep this like around an hour. Okay. He said, well, the ancestors ain't the only one drinking water. I gotta drink my water too. Um, I try to keep this around. He was taking, cause all up under here is wet. He was drinking that water. He must have been thirsty. You was thirsty, Poochie? You was thirsty? You glad Daddy brought you in here to get some water? Daddy gonna have to start putting some water in the other room, so my baby don't be coming back in here thirsty like that.
He would just chill with me.
He need another water container. I mean, another little food dish situation. So, are there any other questions regarding the ancestors or stuff like that before I leave? Because I be noticing y'all wait just as good as when I'm getting ready to sign off, and then bam, here come a question. So, if y'all have any questions, let me know. Oh, let's do this before we leave. Gizmo, you're not going no place. Let's at least ask one question for the book of answers. I have already cleansed it, so it is ready. Now, how are we going to do this? Yeah, and she could be speaking to you. She could be, if you guys had a good relationship or whatever, she could be speaking to you. I'm not, going to say that she's not, but she's not your ancestor. She is your husband's ancestor. And he would have to be the one to specifically honor her. Maybe that's what she wants. Maybe she wants him to light a candle for her. And since you're the, maybe the spiritual one, I don't know your husband. Maybe you're the spiritual one. Maybe you're more open than he is. And maybe she's trying to tell you to tell him to light a candle for her. So maybe you should, put a bug in his ear and tell him, if he's open, tell him, hey, I think your mom is trying to contact you, but she needs you to light a candle for her. Just, say it nicely, gentle, just a little gentle bug in his ear. If he's open, and see if you can, see if you can get him to do that. Shara says, I remember seeing my grandmother standing over me shortly after she died. This was over 30 years ago. I wonder if she is communicating with me. Of course she is. Of course she is. She's your grandmother. She loves you, and she's going to always be there. Our ancestors, especially, like our grandmothers and our parents and stuff, who are directly, who knew us, like your grandmother knew you before she transitioned. Of course, she is never going to leave you. Your mother passed, you're always going to get some type of message from your mom, your dad, if it's nothing but a scent or a feeling. Every now and then I be smelling Gina Tay because my mama used to wear that Gina Tay um perfume back in the day. Every now and then I smell Gina Tay. I went out and purchased some Gina Tay. I put some on the altar for her. Every now and then I will smell her pound cakes. And that's just her way of saying, I ain't far. If you need me, I'm right here. And I know how much you love these pound cakes. Smell this pound cake, okay, with your little fat self. Because, my mother was the only person that would tease me about my weight and I wouldn't get upset because I knew she loved me. And her teasing me was not like, oh, you too fat, you ugly, blah, blah, blah. Her teasing me was always like, okay, okay, don't get no bigger, in a healthy way, because she didn't want me to have diabetes, because diabetes and high blood pressure, a lot of people in my family had it, and she didn't want me to have it, and she felt like, all of that stuff is directly related to your weight. You only want to get so big. You don't want to get no bigger now, you know? So her joking about my weight, I never took it in a hurtful way because I know she was not trying in any way to hurt me. It was all because she loved me and didn't want me to suffer or get sick when I got older. So every now and then I smell them pound cakes. I'll be like, that's my mama. Or something will happen. Or, I'll see somebody on TikTok with a moo. And it, of course, will remind me of my mother because my mother had some of the. My mama was the moo queen. She would get up in the morning and put that moo on. Okay, she was gonna wear a moo for sure. So, okay, I need somebody to ask a question. Hey, Naya, I need somebody to ask a question. If you don't want to put the question in the comments, if you don't want to share the question with everyone and put the question in the comments section, just put a couple of emoji question marks. Just put a question mark in the comments, and that way I'll know you have a question that you don't want everybody to know. And we're going to ask the book, and whatever the answer is, that's your answer. Okay? So if you have a question in mind that you don't want to share with everyone else, like the question, could be about Jody. And you know how we get about Jody. We don't want everybody to know that we asking a question about Jody, because y'all know how I am about Jody. Y'all know if you ask me a question like, is Jody gonna pick me over somebody else? Y'all know I'm gonna say Jody gonna pick the other person because I want you to get rid of Jody. Because if you're in a position where you're asking if a man is gonna pick you over another woman, that ain't the person for you. Okay, so Shantisha Hicks said, okay, so Shantisha's question is in the comments. I'm not going to read the question. I already saw the question. And so we're just going to go to the book. This is for Shantasia Hicks. Hopefully I'm saying her name right. So we are going to Okay, so your answer is give it all you got. So everything that you have to give in this situation, you need to give. Don't go into this situation, whatever the situation is, don't go into it closed minded. Go into this situation giving everything that you have. If it's a situation where you got to get closure, or a situation where you want to tell somebody something and you don't really know if it's time to tell them, it's time. Give it everything. Give it all you've got. That's what the book said. So if this situation is a healing situation or something like that, give it everything that. Because sometimes we go into situations and it's on our heart to do it, but we're scared. We're scared to do it. We don't, oh my God, how are they going to look at me if I do this? Or, is somebody going to say something to me if I do that? And it keeps us bound instead of doing what's on your heart to do. So do it. Give it all you got. Go in there with both barrels cocked. And whatever the situation is, it will resolve itself. Okay? So, Tandra, Tandra Crisp. Tandra Crisp. And she has a question that, hold on.
Normally it was like about two
Hold
o'clock.
on, you guys.
Yeah.
You getting ready to go?
Yeah.
They didn't know you had changed
Changed.
schedule.
Yeah. Okay.
Is Mama back?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Tandra Crisp. This is the she posted the question mark, so we don't know what her answer is. Be practical. So, whatever your situation is, be practical. If it's a situation about Jody, you know, don't let your heart rule a situation. Be practical. Be practical. Let your mind rule. Because sometimes we go into situations with our heart and we forget that we have a mind that rules our heart. You go into situations, you don't want to hurt the other person, and you kind of forget about yourself. You're not being practical. You know that you only have $1,000 in your bank account, but you want to go to Las Vegas with your girlfriends and turn up for the weekend. And you get to Vegas and you done spent $900. And when you come home, you only have $100 for 2 weeks. You're not being practical. Okay? So sometimes you have to, okay, well, I can't go to brunch this weekend. I can't get turned up this weekend because I have rent, I have cell phone, I have babysitting fees, childcare. I got to get food for the next 2 weeks until I get paid. So, whatever your situation is, make sure that you are being practical. You are working with your mind and not your heart. Okay? Thank you, Naya. I'm going to do one more and then maybe we'll do some more. Uh, Let me see. Let me see who else. Did I just do Tendrous? Because she has a question mark too. Okay. Somebody else got one. Okay. Bird said, how do I manifest wealth? Okay. This is for Bird. Take more time to decide. So, research. If it's a business venture, you have to do research. And what it's saying, take time to decide, is saying don't jump into anything. Sometimes because we are, I don't want to say desperate, but we want to make money fast, we jump into situations before we really do a lot of research. You want to manifest money, you have to take some time, figure out which direction you want to go in. Because sometimes, in us wanting to manifest money, we lose money. Because we're jumping into this project over here, we're jumping into this project over here. Oh, I heard people are getting rich doing Bitcoin. So you jumping into Bitcoin. Oh no, girl, they making money selling bundles. So you jumping into bundles instead of, just taking your time to do research. Okay? Where is the hair coming from? Is it quality hair? Is it coming from China? Is this hair going to cost you a lot of money? Are you going to be able to recoup some of the money you spent for the hair? Are your customers going to like it? Are you going to have customers? So take time to decide where that money is going to come from and how you're going to get it. Because a lot of people are on this manifestation. Oh, I'm just going to manifest a Range Rover. No, you're not. If you don't have a job, you don't have decent credit, a Range Rover is not just going to drop from the sky. You got to do some work. Even the Bible says faith without works is dead. If you're not doing anything to get that Range Rover, you're not going to get it. And I don't care how these, celebrities get you to, oh, yeah, I just manifested this and it came. No, you did some work. You made some videos. You did OnlyFans. You did something. Because you're not just going to stand out in your driveway and Range Rover, black on black, gold rims, black interior, come to my house, come to me, right? You can do that all day long. And you're not working, your credit is horrible, you have not saved any money, you're not getting that Range Rover. You're not going to get it. And for somebody like Cardi B, she's not manifesting a Range Rover. She has the means to purchase a Range Rover. She has a husband who is a millionaire. He can buy her a Range Rover. That's not manifesting when you have the means to purchase it. That's not manifesting. Okay? Cardi B's husband bought her a Range Rover. She told her husband she liked Range Rovers, and he purchased her one. She didn't manifest it. They went to the dealership and got a car. That's not manifesting. That's totally different. Okay, so we have to understand what manifesting is first. Manifesting is a buzzword that a lot of people are using right now. So be careful what you believe. Because if you're not putting any work into a situation, it's not going to work. You want a business, you got to work it. You have to have a plan. That's how you manifest. You put your plan into action. You sit down, you figure out what you want to do, and you start working on it. That's manifestation. Plan into action. Not just sitting on the side of the bed with 4 or 5 crystals wishing that something good will happen to you. Now it's great to have a positive mindset. It is great to have that. You know, staying positive and understanding that you can do certain things is different from just sitting on the side of the bed wishing, having these grandiose thoughts with no plan behind it. Okay? So those are I'm gonna stop there. We will do some more of these next week. Whoever had whoever asked the question this week just and it didn't get answered, hold on to your question. We'll come back next week and we will do some more of these. I do like this. I really like this book. So we'll come back next week and we'll do some more. I don't know. I may be here this weekend and I may not, depending on if we go and look at some more houses. Because if we do that, I know I'm gonna be busy, and if not, I might swing through. Who knows? I love you guys. I appreciate you so so much. If your question is really really important, you can slide into my DMs on Instagram or send me an email, and if I have time, I most definitely will. I most definitely will answer if I have time. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you. Bye.